Albert, what are you doing all day in a cave? Oh, I know. You're waiting for the next broadcast of Lord Blood-Rah's nerve-wracking theater.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5.
Welcome to Lord Blood-Rah's nerve-wracking theater.
Ah, my lords and ladies, geeks, geekarellas, geekulas, and geekeritas. I am Lord Blood-Rah, and this is Lord Blood-Rah's nerve-wracking theater. Charles Kessler's wife has run off with another man, leaving poor Mr. Kessler heartbroken and forlorn. But after a series of unsolved murders in his home and the vision of his long-lost wife wandering the gardens at night, Mr. Kessler may slip from sadness into dangerous insanity. Ha-ha! Tonight, from 1941, it's the gothic psychological goulash, Invisible Ghost. Ha-ha! Invisible Ghost stars the immortal Bela Lugosi. And this film proves, I feel, how underrated he actually was as an actor during his lifetime. This film did get a glowing review in the Los Angeles Times, though. The reviewer said, "The Invisible Ghost is head and shoulders above the average horror picture, and Lugosi is, of course, superb in his work, being master of all the horror tricks, but never overdoing them." Ha ha! Well done, Mr. Lugosi. Well, after a glowing review like that, what else is there for me to say but I now present to you, from 1941, the great Bela Lugosi in Invisible Ghost.
Evening, sir. Dinner is served, Mr. Kessler. Thank you. Good evening, my dear. You're more beautiful than ever this evening. Mrs. Kessler first, Evans.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
How's Dad taking it?
All right, Miss Virginia. They're having dinner.
I'll answer it.
Hello, Virginia.
I told you not to come here this evening, Ralph.
Why? Didn't you want to see me?
Well, it isn't that I didn't want to see you.
You're certainly acting strange, darling. What's all the mystery about?
Let's go into the library. You see, Ralph? Ralph!
After dinner, we are taking a long walk.
I'd like to speak to you, Ralph.
What's come over your father, Virginia? Is that why you didn't want me here tonight?
Yes.
It stopped me cold. I'm sorry if I accidentally stumbled on something you didn't want me to know.
Well, it must seem weird to someone who's never seen it before. It happens once a year.
You always appeared perfectly rational to me.
Well, there's something I must tell you. It's about my mother.
I don't understand.
Well, it happened several years ago. My father and mother were apparently as happy as two people could be. He worshipped her.
Another man.
The usual best friend. It almost broke my father's heart. He seems reconciled, but he never forgets their wedding anniversary and celebrates it that way.
Guess he isn't the only one who resorts to make-believe, but it does give one an uncanny feeling.
It doesn't frighten me anymore. Now that you know.
I love you.
You wanted your coat, Miss Kessler?
Oh, yes, thank you. I was going to take a drive. It's such a beautiful night. Come along?
Yes, of course.
Sure you don't mind going?
No, I'd love it.
We'll be back in an hour, Cecile.
Yes, miss. That's a nice young man of Miss Virginia's.
I guess so. If he wasn't, Miss Virginia wouldn't bother with him.
Does she plan to marry him?
I never discuss things that aren't my business. If you want to stay here, I suggest you don't be so curious.
Well, just the same, I think this is a crazy house. And what about those murders? Jules here says there's been a lot of them. And nobody's ever been able to find out who did the killings.
You talk too much, Jules.
But I only said that...
Excuse me, Mr. Seal. Come, I'll show you where we keep our linens.
Mrs. Kessler, I brought you your dinner. Oh, please, Mrs. Kessler, I gotta go home.
Home? I want to go home, too.
Oh, but you are home. And as soon as you feel better, I'm going to take you to your husband and daughter.
But they never write to me.
Oh, but they don't know where you are, Mrs. Kessler. Nobody knows that but me. You see, I found
I'm
you.
running away. We're running away in a car. We're going faster, faster, faster. We're gonna crash. We're gonna crash. I can't go home now. Can I?
Mrs. Kessler, please. Please eat your dinner. I've got to go home. I'll be back in the morning. Good night, Mrs. Kessler. Good night.
You know, between Mr. Kessler's see-through dinner companion and Mrs. Kessler's car crash brain scramble, this movie has packed a lot of crazy into 10 minutes. Oh, and of course, speaking of crazy.
Come in. I surprised her in her room. She was not alone. With my own hands, I killed her.
Starring Boris Karloff.
Take this gun. Escort this gentleman from the castle. If he resists, kill him.
The Terror. His evil mystic powers go beyond man's wildest imaginings. The Terror, empowered to avenge, to reward, to transform.
I do love you.
Is she a blood and flesh beauty a man can enjoy?
I am possessed of the dead.
Or is she a gossamer myth, created by a madman's distorted desires?
Take your life as you took mine, and bring us together forever.
Join Boris Karloff, the Frankenstein monster of all horror motion pictures, in his most blood-chilling screen experience.
As we return to Invisible Ghost, the crazy increases with hidden wives, hidden lies, and murder.
You're late again, Jules.
I'm sorry, Mama, but I just couldn't get away from her.
Jules, why don't you tell Mr. Kessler about his wife, that you're hiding her?
Oh, I haven't got the heart, Mama. It would kill him if he saw her the way she is.
Poor thing. She'd be better off if she died with that man when that car was wrecked.
I guess so.
Jules, I've been thinking, maybe she had something to do with all these horrible murders.
Oh, she wouldn't hurt nobody. She's like a child. She's still dazed from the accident, you know, amnesia. But she'll be better soon. Then I'll take her home. But if they found out I'd been hiding her, they might think I had something to do with the murder.
Jules, you must tell Mr. Kessler.
Oh, no, Mama. We must never tell anyone. Never.
Sure you won't come in?
No, thanks, darling. I think I better run along.
Good night, Ralph.
Oh, Virginia, shall I put your car away?
No, thanks. Evans will take care of it.
All right. Good night.
Good evening, Miss Virginia.
Will you please put my car in the garage when you have a moment?
Yes, miss.
Casanova.
Have you gone crazy?
The only chance I had to see you. You ignored my letters and my telephone calls. Did you think that you could get rid of me as easy as all that?
Be quiet. They'll hear you.
You bet they will. And you're going to listen to me, too. I'm not giving up to that Kessler girl or anybody else.
But this is different, Cecile. I never said I loved you.
Are you in love with her?
Yes.
Well, you're not marrying her, understand?
Nothing's going to stand in the way of my happiness. Not even you.
Don't threaten me. She'll have to know about us sooner or later. And besides, I'll make you a good wife, Ralph. I promise I will.
Guess what?
What?
I'm in love.
Ralph?
Yes, Dad.
He's a fine boy. I am so happy for you, my dear.
Oh, he hasn't asked me to marry him yet, but he will. I know he will. Good night, my pet.
Good night, sweet.
Good night, Evans.
Good night, Miss Virginia. Can I do anything for you, sir, before I retire? What happened to your hand, Evans? Oh, nothing, sir. I heard it when I was putting Miss Virginia's car in the garage. Put anything on it? Oh, the bandage. Oh, you may have an infection. How's that? Just like new, sir. I guess I'll eat for a while. Good night, Evans. Good night, sir. Oh, yes, Evans. Thank you for the dinner. Yes, sir.
I'm afraid to come home. You'd kill me. You'd kill anybody.
From the depths of hell comes The Devil's Messenger, starring the master of mystery Lon Chaney and Karen Cannon.
Leave my message. You'd have to go back. Up there.
I can't. I won't go back.
You'll deliver that to a Mr. Donald Powell. Don't be afraid of me.
The Devil's Messenger delivers gifts from hell, turning man into a ravaging beast.
I took a picture of that old farmhouse. There's nobody in the picture. You saw it. Was there anybody in it?
No, there wasn't.
Somebody has come out of that house, and they're coming toward me.
Back from the dead, his lovely victim seeks revenge for her horrible death at the hands of a man driven mad by a gift from hell. Trapped in her icy tomb until the Devil's Messenger exposed her nakedness in her crystal prison.
Now let's get down to here.
She becomes the object of a scientist's lust. His consuming desire for her drives him to commit murder to keep her for himself. Not since Eve received the apple have gifts inflicted such unnatural consequences.
Tonight at midnight, you will be dead.
Just how do you intend to kill me?
I have no idea. I don't even know you.
The crystal ball foreshadows doom, for it is the plaything of the devil, and only he can change the events it foresees. You must see what the Devil's Messenger has in store for you.
Now back to Invisible Ghost, where our kindly Mr. Kessler has turned out to be a crazed killer, after catching a glimpse of his wife, who left him years ago, wandering in the garden. You know, I don't even think Dr. Phil could save this marriage.
Exercise number 1. Stand erect. Arms at the side. At the count of 1, close hands.
Cecile!
The fists on the chest. At the count of 2, push arms straight from the head. At the count of 3, lower arms sideways.
If it's exercise you want, there's plenty of it in the kitchen.
At the count of 4, lower the arms to starting position.
Cecile!
Stand straight. Arms at side. Ready. Begin. 1, up, down. 1, up, down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, up, down. 1, 2.
Mr. Kessler. Yes? Something terrible has happened. I tried to wake the new maid. I think she's dead. Dead? How did it happen? I don't know, sir. I thought she was taking her exercises. Call the police. I'll see what I can do. Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Kessler, we're up to our ears in another one. The girl was killed the same way as the chauffeur 6 months ago. The only thing we could find was this note left by some fellow who wanted to give her the air.
It's terrible, Lieutenant. She was so young.
If we could find out who killed Cecile, we have the one who committed all the other murders.
That's easier said than done. There's never been fingerprints, to say nothing of motives.
How about crazy? Have you considered crazy as a motive? Just plain bughouse, bat-banging crazy?
What gets me, Mr. Kessler, is why you refuse to move out of this place.
Sentimental reasons.
There's nothing very sentimental about a house where anything could happen and usually does.
My mother lived here, Lieutenant.
Oh, I see. You're the gardener?
Yes, but I wasn't here. I went home early. You see, I live with my wife.
All right. Yes. And please don't try to see me. Signed, Ralph.
Ralph?
Do you know him?
Oh, I'm certain I don't. Well, the name startled me. I'm practically engaged to a Ralph.
Did you notice anything unusual last night, Evans?
Well, maybe I better not say.
Let's have it, Evans.
When I was putting the roaster in the garage, I saw Cecile talk to Mr. Dixon. That's Miss Virginia's Ralph.
Go on.
I didn't mean to listen, but they were talking loud. Then I heard him say that he never loved her. And she said she wasn't going to let him marry anyone else. And that made him real mad. And said nothing was going to stand between him and his happiness. Not even her.
I knew Cecile a couple of years. She offered me the companionship I needed. Then I met you and fell in love for the first time.
I love you too, Ralph.
Surely you can account for your activities from the time you left our house until the next morning.
No, Mr. Kessler. I had a lot to think about. I took a long ride into the country, didn't stop anywhere, and didn't see a soul I knew.
It's most unfortunate.
All I know is that I didn't kill her.
There isn't any doubt about that in our minds. Don't worry, son. We'll do everything we possibly can.
Order! Order in the courtroom. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
Yes, I managed the apartments where Ralph Dixon lived. Miss Mannix came there often. As a matter of fact, I thought they were married.
I went home early and helped my wife with the house cleaning.
The coroner's testimony should convince you that the defendant had sufficient reason for wanting to be rid of the victim.
It's the truth. Said he would let nothing stand in the way of his happiness. Not even her.
Everything we possibly can. Tomorrow we're going to see the governor, and I'm sure something can be done.
But, Governor, the man is innocent. If you would only grant a stay of execution.
If you knew him, you'd realize he couldn't possibly be a murderer.
I'm sorry. I've gone over the facts in the case, and unless you can present some new evidence, there's nothing I can do.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Yes? I see. It's all over.
My name is Dixon.
Yes. Of course.
I'd like to see Mr. Kessler.
He's in there.
I hope I'm not intruding.
Oh, Ralph.
It can't be. Apparently my brother never told you about me.
Come in.
I've been in South America. I flew here at once. However, I'm afraid it's too late to do any good.
So you're Ralph's brother?
Who knew about you, but I never expected such a striking resemblance.
Sorry to have startled you.
This is my daughter, Virginia.
How do you do?
Won't you join us?
I've had my dinner, thanks, but I would like to talk to you.
Do I look pale?
No.
Huh? I feel pale.
The boys, Evans. What's the matter, you thief?
Did he have a good attorney?
Oh, one of the very best. He's handled all of Dad's legal affairs for years.
Evans, Mr. Dixon will have coffee with us.
Oh, I'm Ralph Dixon's brother.
Well, you sure had me going for a minute. But you do look like poor Mr. Ralph.
Coffee.
Yes.
I realize how incriminating circumstantial evidence can be, but it's never brought home to me like this before.
We did everything we possibly could. You know that Ralph and my daughter were quite serious about each other.
Yes, he told me in his last letter.
Sit down. How long do you plan to stay in this country?
Haven't decided yet, Mr. Kessler, but I would like to find out who killed that girl.
It's something I would like to know, too. Please consider this your home while you're here. If there's anything I can do, don't hesitate.
Oh, thank you.
I see that your room is put in order.
Sure I'm not troubling you?
No, not at all. Entertain Paul till I come back.
And so we lose one Dixon and another one pops up to take his place. Ha ha! That was a tough break for poor old Ralph. But after this, we'll see if his brother can unravel the mystery at the heart of the murder before Lugosi snaps again. Ha ha!
Have you ever been kissed by a woman like this? This is the story of an adventure so fantastic and horrible as to make a man of science doubt his senses. See the dance of destruction as Tarantula entices men to a strange fate. Lost women, lost because they were born without human souls. Children of abominable deviltry and twisted science, unleashed by insanity.
He has human beauty and intelligence, still possesses the capacities and instincts of the giant spider.
Who could have shot him?
Nobody shot him. Look, these are not bullet wounds.
What could have killed him?
I don't know. I hope we won't have to find out.
Aren't you afraid, Grant?
I'm scared stiff.
If you're frightened, what do you call him?
I'm getting out of here. The terror of mortal man, paralyzed with fear, bereft of reason, facing the horror of the giant hexapod.
Coming to this theater soon, The Beast of Yucca Flats. Filmed on the burning hot sands by Yucca Flats. See terror, panic, murder. See the Cardoza and Francis production of The Beast of Yucca Flats. See a man turn killer. See a woman ravaged. See one of the most exciting movies ever made. See The Beast of Yucca Flats. A killer on the loose. Death sweeps across the desert. Panic. A bloodthirsty killer stalks a moonlit desert. See
the beast of Yucca Flats.
Now back to Invisible Ghost, where it becomes apparent that Jules needs to invest in a new lock for his work shed.
Paul! Yes? I'll show you to your room.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I almost forgot. I must see Evans. Oh, hot breakfast.
Good night, Virginia.
Good night, Paul.
Excuse me? What was that again?
Oh, I almost forgot. I must see Evans. Oh, hot breakfast.
Good night, Virginia.
Good night, Paul.
You've got to take that line again is what you've got to do. But you know what? I'm sure there was no time for that. This is a Poverty Row picture, which means this director probably had at least 5 more movies to shoot before the end of the week. So, on with the show.
Good night, Dad.
Come in. I hope you'll be comfortable. I sent for your luggage in the morning.
It's awfully nice of you, Mr. Kessler. Really, I hope
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, sir. Well, I guess I'll turn in. I haven't had much sleep the last couple of nights.
Good night.
Good night, sir. police department. No. The body has not been touched. Yes. All right.
Good morning, Evans.
Good morning, Mr. Kessler.
What's the matter?
The gardener, sir.
What?
He's been murdered.
Murdered?
Strangled. Well, here we go again. How long do you work for you?
Oh, about 3 years, I guess.
Ever say anything to you about having any enemies?
No, sir.
Were you home last night?
Yes, Lieutenant.
To your knowledge, did anybody come in or go out of the house during the course of the evening?
We have a house guest.
Why isn't he here?
I'll get him.
Oh, don't trouble yourself, Mr. Kessler. Where is he?
He's upstairs in his bedroom.
Let's have a look at him, Ryan.
Good morning.
You're wanted in the kitchen.
In the kitchen?
Yeah. Am I seeing things?
He's Ralph's brother.
Well, he's the image of him.
How did this happen?
That's what we'd like to find out.
He was strangled, Paul. Would you mind if we go into the library?
No, that's all right. Better wait here for the coroner, Ryan. Not you, Evans. Hey, where were you on the night of January the 13th? Have you had your coffee yet? No. Well, I guess that's that. No clues, no fingerprints, no motive, nothing.
But surely if a man was choked to death, there would be imprints on his throat.
There weren't any on the Mannix girl.
And they were killed the same way, is that right?
That doesn't prove a thing, Dixon. All the others got it, and always the same way. The coroner's here. Okay. I'll be right back.
What does he mean by the others?
Just that. Others have been killed here.
Why in the world do you stay in this place?
We can't leave.
Oh, Evans.
Your luggage, sir. I'll put them in your room.
What about these other murders?
I'll put your luggage in your room, sir.
Oh, Lieutenant. Yeah? I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Well, there'll be a change anyhow. What's bothering you?
As a rule, I'm not a very curious person, but,
I was beginning to get you, huh?
in a way, yes. What about these other murders?
Well, there's been quite a lot of them, Dixon. Some of the best brains in the department have tried to solve them. But we always run up against a stone wall.
Weren't the other murders brought out in my brother's trial?
That was different. That was a cut-and-dried case.
Why haven't the police closed the house?
Oh, we tried to, but Mr. Kessler took it to court. Carries a lot of weight around here. Does a lot of good, too.
You think he'd want to leave?
I guess he's waiting for his wife to come back. She left him several years ago. An awful scandal at the time. Front-page stuff and all that.
Poor devil. He didn't have a chance.
Well, I guess I'll be running along. Glad I met you, Dixon.
Good day, Lieutenant. Well, this isn't a very pleasant way to entertain a guest.
You know, Mr. Kessler, I have a feeling that somehow or other these mysterious murders are going to be cleared up, and quickly, too.
Nothing would please me more.
Oh, your wife?
Yes.
She's beautiful.
I rarely talk about her, but I think about her constantly.
She has eyes like Virginia.
Her hair, her skin, they were the loveliest I've ever seen. I hope you have the pleasure of meeting her. She'll be back someday.
Hello there.
Paul was admiring your mother's picture.
Father's a sentimentalist.
He has every right to be.
I'll get it. Hello? Yes? Just a moment, please. It's for you, Dad.
Thank you. Yes? Yes, I guess I can. Yes. Oh, in about 20 minutes, I'd say? Surely. Goodbye. I'll see you children later. Business.
Bound by no earthly law, possessing weird and enormous powers, these strange teenagers from outer space invade the Earth and prepare to possess its women. Nothing can stop their deadly advance. Earthmen are no match for their superhuman powers. They blast the flesh off humans. A moment before, she was a beautiful young girl. Now, she's a skeleton.
It's Lord Blood-Rah's Tremulous Trailers.
Hello, yes, listen. A young girl just left here, alone.
Don't be frightened, we won't hurt you.
Let me out.
I'm afraid that is quite impossible. I need you.
You need me?
Yes.
Impossible.
Attempting to solve the disappearance of a beautiful girl, the East Side Kids invade a haunted mansion and come face to face with sinister Bela Lugosi. The kids take the first round, but that's only the beginning of this terrifying night.
Sorry. That's the only information I can give you, Mr. Kirby. Have you notified his wife?
Yes, Mr. Kessler. Poor thing, she took it quite hard.
It's terrible. Awful.
I want to see the coroner.
Yes?
I'm Jules' wife. Where are they taking?
In there, Mrs. Mason.
Please, sir. May I have one moment alone with him? I won't ever see him again.
Well, yes, I guess so.
Thank you,
Mrs. Mason. Mrs. Mason. You'd better take her out, Mr. Kirby.
He's alive.
What?
He's alive. I saw him move.
I'll get the hospital.
You'll be all right, Mrs. Mason. Steady now.
Get him out of here. He's not dead.
The doctor will be here any minute.
Jules.
Please, Mrs. Mason. Jules, listen to me. Did you recognize the man who tried to kill you? It was ghastly. I don't believe I was ever more startled in my life than when Mrs. Mason screamed.
It must have been a terrific shock to see him come back to life.
Yes, it was. Just a few moments longer, and I would have known who the assailant was.
I don't like to bring up the subject, Mr. Kessler, but these murders, did they ever happen in the daytime?
No, I don't believe so.
I see.
You evidently have some reason for asking.
Not particularly. I was just curious about that one point.
Yes, sorry dinner is late tonight, sir. But the new cook is having quite a time getting started.
That's all right.
Evan's been with you long?
Over some years.
Everything's gone wrong today. Now I burned the roast.
Oh, don't get so flustered. You'll be all right.
I was so anxious to make good. I want to stay. Where's that mixing spoon?
Here it is. Right in front of you.
Thanks. I like it here. It's nice. Everything's so quiet and peaceful, like.
Ever read the newspapers?
No, they're just full of trash and murders and stuff.
Mm-hmm. What you don't know, well, it's all right. Here's your pepper salt.
Thanks.
Well, Paul, I'm afraid you have me cornered.
You still have a couple of moves, Mr. Kessler.
You've met your equal, Dad.
Oh, your father just got himself into a bad position.
You're going to have a storm. It's your game, Paul.
Want to play another?
No, thank you. Not tonight. It's getting late.
Pardon me, sir.
Yes?
But may I speak to you a moment, please?
Oh, yes, certainly.
The cook wants to leave. I thought you should know.
Why? She just came.
She feels as if her work is unsatisfactory. She had so much trouble with dinner tonight.
Why, that's ridiculous. Oh, I understand. It's her first day. I'll speak to her.
I'll say good night, Mr. Kessler. Think I'll turn in. Thanks for the game.
Good night, Paul.
Good night, Dad.
Good night, Charlotte.
I'll walk up with you, Paul.
Oh, glad to have your company. It's a long, lonesome climb up those stairs all alone.
Where are you going, Marie? You can't leave us after cooking such an elegant dinner.
Did you really like it, Mr. Kessler?
Why, I never tasted anything to equal that roast beef. Besides, you can't go now. It's going to rain in a minute.
Are you sure you want me to stay?
Oh, certainly, Marie.
Well, I like it here, but I thought...
Oh, then it is settled.
Oh, wait till you taste my apple pie, Mr. Kessler.
Apple pie?
Mm-hmm.
My, that will be a treat.
Oh, let me take this. You might as well unpack your things,
Yes,
Marie.
sure. Thank you, sir.
Not at all, Marie. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Kessler. Oh, he's a wonderful man.
Now, let's see. What did I do wrong?
happen now, that it could ever happen to me.
Another murder tonight. At Watergate. My apartment.
You must issue the order that he be taken alive.
But the moon hasn't risen yet. Put a guard on me.
Now back to Invisible Ghost, where Mr. Kessler's daughter has just narrowly avoided being murdered by her father. And Paul is starting to get suspicious.
Mr. Kessler? Mr. Kessler, are you ill?
What?
Something wrong?
Hello, Paul. I must have walked in my sleep.
Well, you did better than I. I couldn't sleep at all.
It's raining. Why don't you go to bed, Paul? I'm all right.
Is there anything I can do?
Nothing, Paul. Thank you. I think I'll read for a while. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Kessler. You look like you had a good night's sleep, Mr. Kessler.
I was so tired when I got to bed, I don't even remember climbing in.
Dad! Who would do a thing like that?
I wonder if anyone was hurt.
Nothing could have hurt my father more.
It's unquestionably the work of a madman.
You all right, Evans?
Yes, sir, Mr. Kessler. Good morning, sir.
Where is the new cook?
Said she'd go shopping first thing this morning.
Have you looked in your room?
No, sir. Something wrong, Mr. Kessler? There's a valise. She didn't leave.
I'm not worried about that. When did she tell you she's going to the market?
Last night before she went to bed.
Do you think there's any connection between this and what has happened before?
I don't know.
Have you been through the rest of the house yet?
No, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Kessler.
Oh, Marie. You have no idea how happy I am to see you.
Thank you. I wonder why he was so glad to see me.
Mr. Kessler thought you had been murdered.
Oh, he's so sweet. I'm going to start to make that apple pie. Murdered.
I can't imagine who would do a thing like that.
I'll get it.
Good morning, Miss Kessler.
Won't you come in?
Thank you.
That happened last night.
Didn't it fall?
No. Find me the person who did it and you've got your murderer.
Nobody came into this house last night. Ryan and his boys were stationed outside.
Lieutenant. Oh, Lieutenant.
It's Ryan.
Then you didn't hear any noises during the night?
No, but there's funny things going on around here.
Meaning what?
Well, this happened 3 times now. I put food on the sink, left the room. When I come back, it was gone.
No. You're a hired detective to watch it.
That's what you get for being such an excellent cook.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Oh, Lieutenant.
Yeah? You got something?
I don't know. I found this in the picture.
Anybody else know about it?
No, I wanted to speak to you first.
Okay. I'll see if I can match it. Keep the others downstairs.
You know, for an old Poverty Row potboiler, this film was building up quite a body count. The housekeeper, Jules, Ryan the cop, not to mention poor Ralph, kinda indirectly, you know, he took the fall in prison. Plus the chauffeur we didn't even get to see, and a bunch of others they won't even talk about. That painting got ruined too. It's not a murder, but still, it ain't good. We'll be right back.
your strength, Jesse James. You will need it.
Your bullets can't hurt me.
Dance, baby, dance, come and dance with me. Hear the beat of the pounding sea. Ride, baby, ride, come and ride with me. Let your feet go easy.
What do you make of this? Where does the other end go? It dumps into the ocean.
It looks exactly like the South American Fantigua fish. I hope you can take one alive, Sheriff.
I still believe that a human clawed that girl to death. The Beach Girls and the Monster, starring John Hall, Sue Casey, and the glamorous Watusi dancing girls from Hollywood's famed Whiskey A Go-Go nightclub. Music by Frank Sinatra Jr.
You got a monster in the surf. Yeah, yeah.
Chicks, do you have a problem? You won't have after you meet the monster on the beach. If you see this ghoul, play it cool. Beauties in bikinis, laughing, singing, surfing, sinning. Beach party lovers making hey hey in the moonlight while the monster waits and watches. Yeah. This one will kill you.
Well, my lords and ladies, now it's on to the conclusion of Invisible Ghost. And because tonight's film is a short one, after that, we'll have a special surprise. How's that? What do you say, huh?
Why not?
I agree. Is this yours, Mr. Kessler?
Yes. Why?
I thought I'd seen it on you. Found it in Evans's room.
Well, there's nothing strange about that.
There wouldn't be, Mr. Kessler, but it so happens that a thread from this robe was found embedded in the picture.
Surely you're not trying to accuse Evans.
Oh, it's incredible. You're just trying to make a case.
Well, somebody's been doing these killings. Ryan didn't die of heart failure. Don't forget that.
When did you give Evans that robe, Mr. Kessler?
I don't remember giving it to him at all. But naturally, when my things need bending, he just picks them up.
I don't care how he got it. He had it, and he used it on that picture. I'm going to talk to him.
Just a minute, Lieutenant.
Yeah?
If Evans is the man we want, it strikes me you've got to have more evidence.
Now, everybody wants to be a detective.
Now, wait a minute. Perhaps Paul has some suggestion.
All right, go ahead. What is it?
Without doubt, the murder is insane. The picture tells us that. I believe we should call in a psychiatrist.
A psychiatrist?
You've still got the robe. But before Evans is accused, I'm definitely in favor of giving him a sanity test. What do you say, Lieutenant?
Okay. Maybe I'd better take one myself. All we want to know is if the fellow's crazy.
That's very easy to determine. Shall we make the examination here?
If you don't mind, Doctor. Please tell Evans I want to see him and then go up to your room.
Go to my room.
Is it possible, Doctor, for a man to be normal, say, for 2 or 3 months at a time, then go completely insane for an hour or two?
Yes, quite common.
This should be most interesting.
Now what?
The fuse must have blown.
I light the candles.
Fuse burned out, Miss Virginia.
Oh, thank you. My father wants to see you, Evans. He's in his room.
Yes, miss.
That'll have to do, gentlemen, until the lights are fixed.
I'll be in my room, Evans.
Yes, miss. I'm sorry, Mr. Kessler, but we ran out of fuses. I sent Marie over to the store to get some more, sir.
That's all right, Evans. Sit down.
Pardon me, sir.
Oh, go ahead, Evans. Sit down. We want to talk to you.
All right, sit down.
Do you want to speak to me, sir?
This gentleman would like to ask you a few questions, Evans.
Yes, sir?
Do you know these men?
Yes, sir?
What's this gentleman's name?
Mr. Kessler. Mr. Charles Kessler, sir.
Would you say that Mr. Kessler is out of his mind?
I don't understand you.
Would you say that he is insane?
No, sir.
What are you doing here?
You can't take it. You can't take it. It's mine, I tell you.
Okay, sister, it's yours.
Leave me alone. I'm going home. Home to my husband. And my daughter.
Of course you are, and we know where you live, too.
You do?
Sure.
But I'm dead, you understand? I'm dead.
Of course you are. I'll take you where you want to go. Now you just come with me, young lady.
Tell me, Evans, do you think this man is crazy?
Now, don't ask him that, Doc. I'm beginning to have doubts myself.
Please, Lieutenant.
Oh, all right, all right. Am I crazy?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I know that woman. She's wicked. She can't go home.
Yes. Yes, I know. She's bad. Now you come with me. There we are. Ever see this before?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing with it last night?
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
What we found.
Miss Kessler.
I'm dead, Charles. Do you hear me? I'm dead. I'm afraid to come home. You'd kill me. You'd kill anybody.
It's Kessler. Take her out, quickly.
behind there. Close that door.
Now you sit right there, and we'll see that you get home all right. What do we turn? Give me a hand, George. She's dead.
What happened here?
We've got the murderer.
Evans.
No, Mr. Kessler. You.
I knew you'd come back. Nothing can part us now, my darling.
Wow. Poor Mr. Kessler. This has to be one of the most tragic roles I have ever seen Bela Lugosi play. And right next to him there, giving a deeply dignified performance in a time when African-American servants were usually played as eye-rolling clowns, after all, this was 1941, is actor Clarence Muse. Now, you classic Lugosi fans out there may recognize Mr. Muse as the coach driver from 1932's White Zombie. In fact, Clarence Muse is the very first actor to ever say the word zombie on screen in the very first zombie movie.
Zombie! Allez, allez!
There, see? And many years later, Mr. Muse played the old shoeshine man Snapper in the beloved comedy Car Wash. You know, I still feel so sorry for Bela Lugosi's character in this movie. After this, we're going to have a look at how this whole murderous mess could have been avoided.
Larry!
From the exotic geisha houses of Tokyo to the back alleys of the Ginza Strip comes the terrifying news of a fiendish creature that threatens to destroy all who stand in his way. This is the frightening story of an American reporter in Tokyo who unwittingly became the victim of a shocking scientific experiment that turned him into a horrible mutant, half man, half monster, the Manster.
What happened?
He got away.
I think I know where he's going, to Taras. Follow me.
Right. There's panic in the streets as the unheard-of terror of a half-man, half-monster runs wild through the city. There he goes! Don't miss The Manster, a genuine thriller in the most frightening sense of the word.
My lords and ladies, I believe I have put my finger on the precise problem that led poor Mr. and Mrs. Kessler down the dark road to murderous madness. You'll recall what began this whole affair.
Well, it happened several years ago. My father and mother were apparently as happy as two people could be. He worshipped her.
Another man.
The usual best friend. It almost broke my father's heart.
That's right. An affair began this whole affair. Mrs. Kessler left Mr. Kessler for another man, and it scrambled poor Mr. Kessler's brain box. So, in my expert opinion as a relationship expert, I believe it was their relationship that was at the root of the problem. And there is no deeper root in a relationship than the very first date. I believe that their first initial original date was the cause of all of their problems. So, in an attempt to keep you ladies out there from leaving your husbands, but then getting into a car accident where your lover is killed and your bell is rung so hard that you have to be hidden beneath the work shed by your gardener, but you escape anyway in a beat-up bathrobe to stare up at him in the house from the garden, sending him into a murderous rage. And in an attempt to keep you men out there from having your wives leave you for another man, but then seeing her down in the garden in a beat-up bathrobe and being sent into a murderous rage, I have a short film that I believe will help. Here is What to Do on a Date.
Just a minute, Jeff. I'll get my tennis racket.
Okay, Nick, but hurry. Hey, what about asking Kay to come to the community center with us on Friday to fix up that scavenger sale? We could make it a double date.
What?
You heard what I said.
That's no place to take a girl on a date, helping to fix up the scavenger sale. Is it?
Why not?
On a first date?
First date?
Yeah. Well, Kay's a swell girl. I was thinking of calling her. Maybe ask her to the show Friday. Good picture, wagon train.
Well, hurry up and call her and let's get going. I still have to get my things yet.
Call her now?
Sure. You know the number, don't you?
Okay. What if she says no?
Hello?
Oh, hello, Kay. This is Nick Baxter.
Oh, hello, Nick. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Say, Kay, next Friday, would you like to see Wagon Train at the movies?
Oh, I'm sorry, Nick. I suppose you've got your mind made up to see it?
You've seen it? She's already seen it.
Well, ask her about the scavenger sale. Go ahead.
Kay, You wouldn't want to help get the scavenger sale ready at the community center, would you?
Oh, I've been hearing about that. Yes, I'd like to very much.
You would? All right. I'll call for you then. About 7? Bye. I sure didn't think she'd go to a place like that for a date. Where's my racket? Oh, ready?
You know, you better think some more, fellow, about what to do on a date.
Do you think she'll have a good time? What do you suppose I'll have to do? You know who all's gonna...
Now, you may not have thought of this sort of thing as a place to take a date, but it looks like it could be fun. A group doing things together. Pretty good idea for a first date. Plenty to do, plenty of people to talk to. But let's see if Nick and Kay are enjoying it.
No amount of work to make this thing look any older.
Boy, that is an old timer.
Can you help me put the sign up?
Oh, sure.
I can't quite reach that far.
How's this?
That's about right.
Thanks. Say, Kay, are you really having a good time?
Of course I am. I'm glad you thought of coming here.
So am I. I mean, yes, it was a good idea.
Okay. How about helping with refreshments for the gang?
All right. See you later.
Oh, yeah, oh, sure.
Assume the position and open your minds wide. It's time for your cranial cavity search. Yes, my lords and ladies, the cranial cavity search. Here's a chance for you great geeks out there to prove your geek cred by showing what you know. And tonight's cranial cavity search question is: the drugs I took seemed to light up my brain. Suddenly I realized the power I held, the power to rule, to make the world grovel at my feet. From which science fiction classic does this ominous line come? A. The Invisible Man. B. X. The Man with the X-ray Eyes. C. The Fly from 1958. Or D. It Came from Outer Space. From which science fiction classic comes this quotable quote? Think about it, my lords and ladies, during these sadly unquotable commercials. And the answer to tonight's cranial cavity search question: the drugs I took seemed to light up my brain. Suddenly I realized the power I held, the power to rule, to make the world grovel at my feet. From which classic science fiction film does that line come? It was A, The Invisible Man. Ha ha! Yes, my lords and ladies, The Invisible Man, the classic from 1933, starring the great Claude Rains as Professor Griffin, a man who discovers a drug that not only makes him invisible, but also drives him completely insane. Ha ha! If you haven't seen The Invisible Man, you have to see it. It is a true classic. But now, on to the rest of our public service short film, What to Do on a Date. And I'll just bet that Mr. and Mrs. Kessler did not go to a decorating party for a scavenger sale on their first date. And look what happened to them. So yes, it was a good idea for them to go there.
Yes, it was a good idea to come here. How does Jeff get ideas like that? Hey, what's this? Maybe this is where Jeff gets ideas. A list of coming activities. A bike trip. That could be a lot of fun. A chance to do things with a group, to get acquainted. It does look like a good time, if your partner likes it. Would Kay enjoy a bike trip? Or a weenie roast? Another group date. A chance to learn the give and take of working and playing together. Not much arranging needed, not much expense, and that can be important. Could be a fine date, if Kay would like it. Wonder if she'd like to go to a baseball game. A date that's not too involved, one you can carry through comfortably. And there are all sorts of other sports events, inexpensive dates, most of them. Swimming meets, for example. You can find many good ideas for dates. Dates that give you a good chance to get acquainted. And dates that you don't have to worry too much about in advance. It was a good deal coming here tonight, double dating with Jeff and Phyllis. When all four are good friends and enjoy the same things, double dates can be lots of fun. Or you can ask Kay to go on dates with you alone, if you plan for what she enjoys.
Hey, you loafer. What are you doing over there?
Be right there.
Fine thing. As soon as Kay isn't around to supervise, you go off on a vacation.
You know, Maestro, I don't think your date ideas are so original.
What?
About what to do on a date, I mean. But what I'd like to know is, how can you figure out what a girl would like to do? A certain girl, I mean.
Well, you might ask her.
Yeah, Nick's looking for you. Is he good company? He always seems so quiet.
We get along all right. He's got a good sense of humor, and we haven't run out of things to say yet.
He's kind of cute. You gonna date him again?
I don't know. Besides, he hasn't asked me. George, get out of there.
I'm hungry.
If you want to do something, take the Cokes out there.
Okay, come on, hurry up.
All set?
I think so. Come and get it, everybody.
Come on, we eat. Let's go.
Eat at your own grip.
Hurry up.
Hi, stranger.
I decided to come out of hiding.
Say, this looks good. You make the sandwiches?
Larry will get Frito plate. Boy, this one's for Where should we go? Rod.
How about over here?
Oh, fine.
Your table, madame.
Thank you, sir. This is fun, isn't it?
Yeah. You're sure you like to do things like this?
Sure.
I thought all girls wanted fellas to take them to fancy places, spend lots of money.
Not this girl.
You know, I sort of like things like this, too. You won't laugh. I like to go on bicycle trips, too. Do you?
And miniature golf. Do you like that?
Yeah, and weenie roasts and square dances.
And baseball games and taffy pull. I think they're swell.
Say, you like to do lots of things, don't you? Say, Kay, next Friday there's going to be a weenie roast, or there'll be a bowling party if you'd rather do that. Or we could go to the band concert.
Oh, I'd enjoy going to the weenie roast very much. Unless you'd rather go bowling.
No, I'd rather go to the weenie roast. If Jeff goes with Phyllis, we could double date with them.
Hey, Nick, hey, come on, we're gonna break open the ice cream.
Okay, be right there. Is it all right then, about Friday?
Yes, Nick, it's a date.
Yes, there are lots of things to do on dates. If you know how to look for them, if you plan them with the other person in mind, and if you really try to make sure each date's a good time. If you do these things, you'll know what to do on your date.
There, you see, my lords and ladies? Nick and Kay's first date was a wholesome, G-rated success, and I'm sure there's no homicidal insanity in their future. If only the Kesslers had gone to a weenie roast or a taffy pull or two, all those lives could have been saved. Well, that's my opinion anyway. Well, my lords and ladies, I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to invite you all back again next week when we'll do whatever this is all over again. Ha ha! As always, I am Lord Blood-Rah saying, geek out.